Why is it always pick the squeaky chair? It always happens. We're going to start our class. So we're going to take that right fist, that's the sun, and you do that flat left palm, that's the moon. And let's bow down to one another to start our chair Tai Chi class. Let's start with shaking Gong, shall we? So we're just going to shake our bodies. And maybe you want to lift the heels at the same time. And then we're going to bring it up towards the sky. And I'm kind of lifting those heels, getting a little calf pump in there, getting that blood flow from the lower extremities back to my heart. And you can turn side to side. If you like to do this standing instead, you're more than welcome. We kind of do that in our beginner's Tai Chi class. We do the standing, shaking Gong. And then let's take it, palms down, flap those wrists. That's good for carpal tunnel. And I'm still lifting my heels up and down. If you forget about lifting the heels, that's okay. And then turn the palms up. Very good. Again, good for that carpal tunnel, those challenges. Breathing in and out. And then cup your hands and arms down and back. Ooh, maybe you're noticing, maybe that left shoulder, that right shoulder is making a little creaky noise here. Again, this helps us with our range of motion in the shoulders. Welcome to the class, Heather. My right one's going, making those little snappy, poppy noises, little Rice Krispies going on there. Now let's tap the top of the shoulders if you can, if that's available. Again, do what you can with what you got today. Woo. Let's do two more. 2 and 1. And just kind of let them go back to not swinging. And from here, let's take our hands and spin those wrists. You might notice one wrist doesn't spin as well as the other. Welcome to the class, Susan. Again, chair Tai Chi is great for easing back challenges. It's not as effective as the gentle yoga for back care, but it still gets the job done. And then let's reverse. So when I reverse, what I notice is my left one doesn't spin as easily as my right one. That's what I notice. Maybe you notice that too on your non-dominant side, but I love it because it gets a little air here across my throat, which sometimes I need. Maybe not today because it's kind of spicy cold in the house today. All right, from here, we're going to spread out our hands. It's called spread the feathers. And you bring a hand out to the side and then I'll lower my arm a little bit and turn my thumb to the back of the room. So I'm activating that extended arm. Now I'm going to take my chin, look over one side, the opposite side, and then take my chin, look where the wall meets the ceiling. And then let's bring the chin back on down and then back down towards the chest and towards that extended arm side. And release. You might have noticed a little spiciness, maybe, yeah? Let's do that. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. Let's do the other side. So spread out those hands, like really spread them out. Okay, very good. Maybe lower the arm a little bit and then turn the thumb to the back of the room so you really activate that extended arm. This time, drop the ear towards the shoulder. Ooh, I feel really tight on this shoulder side, yeah? And then take the chin, look towards the shoulder. And then bring the chin where the wall meets the ceiling. So lift it up. And then we're going to draw like a half circle or a smile. Bring the chin down towards the chest. And then towards that extended arm side. And release. From here, let's clap our hands. Oh, do it again. Well, that wasn't as good as the first one. And you may want to do where this is called igniting the fire when you're trying to make meatballs or, playing with Play-Doh, and then move it down into the palms, into the fingers, increase circulation in those hands. And let's just do a little Qigong detoxing for the upper body at this moment. So let's take the hand and tap, tap, tap the outside arm and get that shoulder. Bring the palm up, bringing down the inside. Let's do that 2 more times. Go on the outside, not too hard, okay? And really get into that. So maybe you want to do a little fist on that shoulder. Maybe it needs it today. And do palm up, bring it down the inside. Let's do that again. Last time this side. Here you go. Tap, 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 tap. Ooh. Get that shoulder, palm up, bring it down. Once again, clap your hands. Get some heat going on into those palms, into those fingers. And we're going to do the other side. So here we go. Tap, 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 up the side of the other arm. Get that shoulder. Ooh, I want to stay right here. But we got to move on. Bring it down the inside. Again, outside of the arm, kind of bone to bone kind of feeling. Be sweet, be kind, be a little bit less than you need to, okay? And then palm up, bring it down. And again, outside of the arm. Last time today, unless you do the class again. And then, ooh, shoulder, stay there and bring it on down. Rub, rub, rub. Ooh, I love it. All right, next is going to be stir arm. So I'm going to scooch over to one side of my chair and let my arm dangle. Now you can even place your hand on the leg or maybe on the shoulder because maybe it feels a little spicy. It might. And you're basically drawing a circle or an oval with your arm. So I have a pacemaker, and when I initially had my pacemaker put in, of course, my arm was in a sling for about a week, week and a half, so that the wires would get embedded into my heart. So why am I mentioning this to you? Well, this is one of the exercises, the PT exercises they gave me to get my range of motion back in that shoulder joint. So this is a nice one for understanding your range of motion, your spiciness of that shoulder mechanism. And then let's pause and go the other way. So I typically hold my pacemaker side because it feels a little odd in my body, yeah? But again, if something feels weird, you don't like it, don't do it. Wait for the next posture, okay? It's okay to do less or not to do the posture at all. And then make it smaller, smaller, and smaller. You might notice some sensation going on, and you might not. Let's scoot over to the other side of the chair, or in my case, I'd need to do that. And then again, let's do the other side. So this side, I don't need the hand on the shoulder, even though I feel a snap, crack, crackle, pop. It's not as spicy as that first side. And that's kind of how I describe yoga postures, chair Tai Chi postures. Sometimes there's a little kind of edginess happening, sensation in a posture. And one thing you can do, let's reverse as I continue to talk, is to listen to the breath going in through the nose and out through the nose. Woo! Again, notice any crinkly stuff, feeling the crinkly stuff, maybe a little bit slower than what I'm doing. And then let's go ahead and go slower and then kind of make it smaller, smaller, and smaller. Very good. I'm going to come back to the center of my chair. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And then in Tai Chi, we bring the energy from the heavens back down to the Dantian. So the Dantian is a collection center that's about 2 finger widths, or other people call it 2 inches below your belly button. And it's where we store and collect energy to where we send it out through the various places in our body to clear blockages. But that's a topic for another conversation. So what we're going to do here is bring the leg out to the side and flex the heel, toes towards you. I'm going to scoot back a little bit because that's almost out of the camera view. And of course, you're going to listen to my chair squeak when that happens. And then let's point the toes away. And then let's get a little movement going on here. Let's point and flex. My point and flex is going to take my sock off if I don't watch it. So, okay, I want to keep my sock on because it's cold in this room today. Is it cold where you are today? Maybe so. So this returns blood flow back to the heart. It's your blood glucose lowering technique, pumping the calves. This is one way to do it, yeah? And then let's bring that leg in. And let's do the other side. So bring that other leg out, swing, fling, wiggle it out there, yeah? And then invite the toes towards you. Ooh. Notice, is this more squeezy, more sensation with this calf contraction compared to the other side, or similar, or I didn't even notice? That works too. And then let's point the toes away. My foot just went snap, crackle, pop when I did that. And then let's get that motion going. So, and depending, if you have carpet, if you have, smooth floor, you're in your tennis shoes, you're in your socks, this may be a difficult thing to do. So take your time. You don't have to be fast with this, okay? This also helps to lessen leg cramps when you do some action here with the lower body, with your legs, yeah? The foot rotation, the point and flex, preventing foot cramps. What else? Improve ankle flexibility, better walking ability. And again, The calf pumping is considered to be the second heart in our body. So it's, very important to do calf pumps every day. All right, and then bring it in. Very good. And speaking of point and flex, because I just said that, let's scoot back a little bit, probably the halfway point in your chair, and maybe interlace the fingers here on the shin or underneath the knee pit. I'm going to do the underneath the knee pit today. I'm going to raise that leg up, and I'm kind of, hinging back here a little bit. So, it's not straight. I'm like hinging back, all right, just to kind of give you a visual of that. Now let's point and flex the foot again. Now it's not resting on the floor. You might feel some more snap, crackle, pops going on. And then I'm going to make it still. I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to turn my foot inward. Now I'm trying to do tiny, tiny circles first, which those are hard for me to do. And then move them into medium circles. Ooh. And then maybe large circles. There may be lots of snap, crackle, pops going on. Those tendons kind of moving around those bones, yeah? And then relax the foot, kind of shake the foot a little bit, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And let's go circle the other direction. Tiny circle. Again, we're trying to isolate that ankle. And then make it medium. Woo! And then make it a big one. Very nice. And release that down. Other side, maybe you want to interlace here, or again, maybe it's hands underneath the knee pit. If we can have an armpit, we can have a knee pit, right? Again, point and flex. Yeah, I'm going to laugh at my own jokes because I can't hear y'all. And yeah, they may not be funny, and that's okay too. But even if it's a fake laugh, it's good endorphins for the brain, by the way. I took a laughter yoga training, and that's what they told us. You can do like a like a fake laugh. It's still the same as a spontaneous laugh. All right, make it still, and then we're going to draw the circles inward. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Ooh. Notice what you notice. Like compare this side to the other side. Is it different? It might be. Make it a medium circle and make it a large one. This one's stiff. Ooh. And then kind of wiggle it, shake it a little bit. Let's do the other direction. So tiny, tiny, tiny little circle going the other direction. Or maybe it's the same direction. No, it's not the same. And then make it medium. And then make it bigger, bigger, bigger. We have 2 new Tai Chi postures to try to do today. We'll see how we do. See how I do, teaching you to them. And then release. Let's go ahead and stomp those feet. And come up on the balls of the feet and shake the legs, or use your hands to shake the legs. That works too. And again, stomp the feet and shake those legs. Beautiful. All right, from here, clap the hands. And then let's rub a little heat into our shins, into our calves. Those calves. Come up, get the side of the knees, the inside, the tops, the underneath on that side. Very good. And get everything all nice and adjusted. And again, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. From here, bring down fists. We're going to do eagle claw next. So this is good for range of motion. So inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, sky high. Reach, reach, reach. Beautiful. Inhale, back to your chest. Open up the palms. Spread them out like spread the feathers. And then exhale, push forward like a stop sign. And then inhale back to your chest. And then exhale out to the side. You can turn your head if you like to too. So we're going to open and close 5 times. Here's your eagle claw. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to your waist. Other side. Inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, sky high. Increase our mobility with this particular movement sequence. Inhale back to your chest. Open up the palm. Exhale, push it forward. Inhaling back to your chest. Exhale out to the side. Open and close. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to your waist. One more time this side. Inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, sky high. Reach, reach, reach. Beautiful. Inhale back to your chest. Open up the hands. Exhale, push it forward. Inhaling back to the chest. Exhale out to the side. Open and close 5 times. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to the waist. Other side. Last time. Inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, sky high. Reach, reach, reach. Beautiful. Inhale, back to your chest. Open up the fingers. Open up the hand, I guess. Exhale, push it forward. Y'all knew what I was saying. Inhale, back to your chest. And then exhale out to the side. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to the waist. Next is going to be lighthouse. But first, the finishing breath. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And bring down that energy from the universe back down to your dantian. So I'm going to bring my feet a little wide, sit up nice and tall. I'm away from the back of the chair. I've got some space back here. And we're going back to those cupped hands in front of our chest. And there's a little core activation going on here. So what we do, we turn from the quad. This is considered to be the quad, the inguinal crease. And then exhale, reach out. We're kind of leaning forward a little bit. And then inhale, back to the center. Exhaling, reach out. Inhale, back to the center. So again, it's kind of like a little lighthouse out there on the coast, shining the light in that circular movement. So we're moving in a horizontal circle. And then let's do one more around in this direction. And then we'll meet back at the center. And then from here, we're going to go the other direction. So turn the other way. This also helps to stimulate the organs internally, like let me think here, the ascending, the descending colon, the large and the small intestine, a little bit of the diaphragm, especially if you're twisting over to the side. So this is all good stuff for digestion and elimination. I know you wanted to hear that, right? And then again, one more time around. Very good. Excellent. Let's do that finishing breath. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. But this time, guess what? Let's do blood pressure technique. Bring the hands down, the heart center. There's your heart. Now, thumbs are in your palm, fingers on the thumbs, and then you inhale and you bring those arms really high up and you squeeze your chest forward. Breathe in. And then when we exhale, release, we turn the palm outward. So we're stimulating that heart meridian when we do this. So outward. Inhaling back on up. So if you have high or low blood pressure, this kind of equalizes it. Exhale, bring it down. Grab those thumbs. Inhale, elbows back, chest forward. I'm kind of leaning forward when I do this too. Exhale, release out to the side. Turn those palms out. Very good. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Welcome, Gary, to the class. Exhale, lower. Grab those thumbs. Inhale, chest forward, elbows back. This is chair Tai Chi. I can't say it. Tai Chi today. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhale. Bring it down. Grab those thumbs. Elbows back. Chest forward. Breathe in. Exhale out to the side. Let's do that finishing breath. Inhaling up, up, up. And bring down the energy from the universe back down to your dantian, that collection center. So the next one is like a variation of seated cat-cow. It's called spinal cord breathing. It can be a little spicy, especially for those of us with maybe some pelvic tilt challenges. So go slow, okay? So we're going to go back to the cupped hands once again. And again, my feet are a little wide here. They're not, aligned with my hips. They're a little wide for a better basis stance. And we're going to have them here at our kind of a collarbone level. We're going to inhale, elbows up, push that chest forward. So here we have the cow version. And then exhale, curve the spine to the back of the chair, and you bring your forehead close to your fists. So again, we got this curve of the spine going on here. And then slowly, we're coming out of that pelvic tilt, which can be spicy. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, curve your spine to the back of the chair. Let's do that again. Inhaling, elbows up, go slow. Exhaling. Now we're going to turn to the side, get into that side musculature. Inhale, elbows up, turn to the side a little bit. Woo! Exhale, back to the center. Other side, inhale, elbows up. Exhale, back to the center. One more time to the center. Here we go. Inhaling, elbows up, 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 up. Exhaling, curve that spine. And let's come out of that. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down the chi. Very good. From here, let's do a little bit of foot patterns while we're here. We're going to bring the feet in together. My knees are a little bit apart. And we're going to do what's called the jitterbug. So basically, feet and ankles are glued, and you're going to go side to side. And then sometimes we naturally kind of twist the upper body the opposite direction, or maybe the same direction. Or maybe you don't twist, if twists are not your thing today. So again, this helps with us realizing our strength of our ankles. And then we do a little brain work on the second part of our jitterbug series. I can go more over to the left side than I can the right. That's what I'm noticing. Well, I'm on a smooth metal chair, so I'm able to move a little bit. One more time, over to one side, and then join me back to the center. All right, once we get to the center, we're going to bring our heels out, toes in. Feels weird. And then we're going to independently walk them out and then back on in. Ooh, notice, do you have one that's a little bit more strong than the other? Tap the heels or the toes, or just kind of bring them together, yeah? And bring them more out. Okay. I noticed that I'm getting tired in those shins and those ankles, but this is good stuff. This is stuff we need, yeah? One more time, all the way out. And all the way in. Very good. Woo! From here, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down that energy. All right, so more for knee strengthening, but let's do the lower body Qigong detox before that. So we're going to clap our hands. Ooh, that was a good one. Rub some heat into those palms. Maybe you're igniting the fire by, making those meatballs or playing with the Play-Doh. I don't know. And then move it into the fingers. Very good. Now let's place a bit of this heat softly on our kneecaps. Be sweet. Don't be spicy here, okay? And then maybe you can come up on the pads of the fingers to stimulate those acupressure points. To me, it's almost close to being ticklish. And then we're going to take our palms and tap, tap, tap the outside. Now I'm hinged forward a little bit when I do this. Tap, tap, tap. So that helps with lessening knee pain. Now you're not whapping, okay? You're tapping, okay? This is remember, the stomach meridian. I'm sorry, no, it's the gallbladder meridian. I got that reversed. The stomach meridian is on the inside, so you can tap, tap, tap on the inside. So for me, it's a little tender on that. Let me see here, the left inside. That might mean I have some gut issues because it's the stomach meridian, and I do have some gut issues. All right, then we're going to scoot back in our chair. So get back in your chair. And we'll lift a leg up, and I got to lift my leg off the chair to make it more comfortable. Toes pulled towards you, heel pushed away. Kind of feel that contraction energy happening in the top of the leg, the quadricep, the hamstring, the behind, yeah? And then lower hover. So this is a controlled movement, and then point the toes away. And then down. We got to do the other side. Maybe you need to scoot back more. Other side. Woo! Again, if you need to lift your leg to make it feel more comfortable on that first try, make that a little adjustment. You're going to notice this side versus the other. Does it feel different? And then lower hover. And then point toes away. Beautiful. And release. Now we're going to add brain work here, top and bottom, left and right. So we're going to flex the foot once again. Take your opposite hand and do the little stop sign. I always think, stop in the name of love when I do this. And then lower, hover, and then point the fingers, point the toes. Now really contract your belly button towards your spine. Do a weird basketball dribble. You should notice some core activation when you do this. And release. I don't think I like that one. Other side, flex that foot. That means I need it. Flex that opposite hand. Again, left side, right side, upper body, lower body. Using new neural pathways here. Lower, hover. And then we're going to point the toes, point the fingers, zip up those abdominals, and do that weird basketball dribble. My spine kind of pops on this one because I got the twisted spine with my scoliosis, so I can feel it in my spine. And release. Again, if it doesn't feel good in the body, don't do it. Now, let's do one more set. So here we go. Flex a foot, flex both hands. Woo! I feel it in my behind on this one. And then lower hover, and then point the toes, point the fingers, alternate weird basketball dribbles. Okay. Now, if you want to, both at the same time. Ooh, you feel your core just a little bit. And release. That's for your back challenge. Okay. Other side, last one. Flex the foot, flex both hands. Here we go. Here we go. Woo! And then lower hover. And then we're going to point the toe, point the fingers, and then alternate. Here we go. Weird basketball dribbles, activating the core all the way up into that diaphragm. And then maybe both at the same time. I'm getting warm in here now. And release. I'm going to scoot forward here. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And bring down the chi. Now, I mentioned we're going to do 2 new postures today. One is kind of reminiscent. This got some elements of swallow flies to the nest, some of our eagle claw, and some of our teacup exercise. It's called snake hand. So we're going to try to do that. So basically, we have palms facing us. Put one palm on your leg. We're going to inhale, palm to chest. And then exhale, sky high. So you kind of recognize that. I'm going to bring my feet a little wide on this next one. Then we inhale, circle it up and over. Very good. And then we take that hand off because basically we're going to bring the hands down and swirl it across and bring the other one to the starting position as you breathe in. Exhale, sky high. Inhale, down and up and over. And then take the other hand off. And then we're going to bring it down. And the bottom hand follows the top hand. And then you bring it back up. Snake hand, breathe in. Exhale to the sky. Inhale, down, up, and over. And then here, release the hand, bring it low, and then bring it across, swirl it around, bring it to the new position. Inhaling. Exhale, sky high, less time. Inhale, arm down, up and over. And then bring it across. And then we're going to bring it back to our hips and inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and bring down the chi. Very good. There may be some nuances that I have forgotten on that one. I'll check and we'll do that again 2 weeks from now. So next is our other new one. It's called Young Man Praise. So basically, there's a movement in traditional Tai Chi where you bring the fingers and the thumb together. I'm putting it so where you can see that maybe. So it looks like a little goose head. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So we're kind of really stretching the top of the wrist there. So basically we're going to take, and your feet are a little wide here. We're going to have the hands down beside our bodies. We're going to inhale, arms up into that weird little goose hands. Yeah. And then exhale, push them away, flex those wrists. And then inhale, bring the hands inward. They're pointing towards one another. And then do side of the hands together, pinky sides. Bring them in, do the little hands together, hands up. Hands towards your chest. Now they may be separated depending on your flexibility. Fingers up, forward, bring them out and down. Let's do that again. Inhale, fingers to the thumb. Exhale, push it away. Inhale, bring those pinkies or fingers towards one another. And then the pinky sides towards one another. Bring the hands to your chest. Hands together, fingers up, fingers towards your chest. Fingers up, and then point it away, out, and down. Let's do that again. Inhale, fingers to the thumbs. Exhale, push it away. Turn the hands, bring the fingertips together, and then kind of circle them to where you're doing the pinky sides together. Bring them into the chest, hands together, fingers up, fingers towards your chest, fingers up, push them away, out and down. Now, walk the feet in a little bit, zip up your core, take one of your legs, lift the leg off the floor, and here we go. Inhale up, lifting the leg is optional. Exhale, push it away. This is a challenge. Inhale, bring them together, fingers together, and then circle them, palms together, fingers up, fingers towards your chest, fingers up, don't forget to breathe. Push them away, out and down. Woo! Let's do that again. Other side, lift the other one up. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, push away. Inhale, bring the fingertips together and then circle them. Pinky sides, bring it in, palms together, fingers up, fingers towards the chest, fingers up, fingers forward, reach out and down. Woo! Let's do the finishing breath. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up and bring down that energy. Beautiful. From here, clap the hands. And before we did the upper body Qigong detoxing, now what we're going to do is take these warm hands, kind of rub on those hips, and then take the back of the hands or the palms, rub on those kidneys, kind of down the top of the behind. Sometimes lifting that foot is a little bit of a challenge, yeah? And then move it to the side of the legs, the insides, the tops, the bottoms, the shins, the calves. All right, beautiful. And then inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down the chi. Let's bring the feet a little bit apart as we do parry. So we're going to draw a circle in and then the other. So it's kind of a continuous movement. You're shifting your weight from one bun to the other, making those circles draw in. So when you make the circles draw in, it's called the yin path or the wind path, also known as like the nourishing, refreshing path. And then when you bring energy away from the body, it's called the yang path. So those are constant themes in a Tai Chi practice. And let's pause and then let's wipe it out. So this is the yang path. We talked about the yin and the yang path when we did the Tai Chi ball Qigong, where we drew circles, vertical circles away and towards us. You may notice some little creaking going on for those shoulders. Now let's bring it to where you're wiping the window. So we're doing the yang energy because we're wiping it outwards. This is also beneficial for really getting into those lungs in these winter months. So we tend to do chest breathing. So I encourage you to do lower diaphragmic breathing or lower belly breathing. And then we're going to pause and wipe it in. So this is the yin path, when you draw energy towards you. And then if you want a little bit more, get into those lungs a little bit more, make fists and draw those elbows across a little bit. So you're kind of getting into a twist. You're activating the intercostal muscles in between those ribs. So again, if it's available to you, do what you can with what you got, okay? You might notice your breath is a little deeper when we do the elbow digs with the fists. And then release the hands and just draw it in here on top of the legs. And then make it smaller, smaller, and smaller. You might be noticing some sensation going on here when we kind of do a lot of things with bringing energy in and out away from the body. So notice what you notice. From here, inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and bring down the chi. So next is sumo stomp. So basically, we're going to bring a leg out and in, and then pretend there's a little soccer ball there. You got to lift it up and over. And maybe you can release the foot if you don't have the brittle bones. This is also a bone density builder. Every time I teach this particular posture, my husband's like, what were you doing up there? Because, you know, he can hear the stomp, stomp. Now, what I like to do is I like to have my hand underneath the knee pit and raise it up a little bit more than what my own strength can do. So that way I'm kind of working the edges of my range of motion. The getting in and out of the car movement. Let's do one more. One more, bringing it back to the center. And then we got to do the other side. So maybe yours is just sliding it out and in. There might be some snap, crackle, pops going on with that hip. Just notice what you notice. And then there's that soccer ball. Ooh, we got to bring it up. Can you do it with your own muscular strength? How high can you bring it up with your own muscular strength? Or like me, I like to kind of get a little bit more in my edginess and my range of motion. Ooh. And then I just kind of let it release. So 2 new poses, young men praise and snake hands. Woo. Couple more. One more. Very good. Come up on the balls of the feet, shake the legs again to avoiding those leg cramps. Stomp the feet. You've got the socks on, bare feet. You're stimulating those acupressure points, reflexology points on the bottoms of the feet. And then make them nice and still. Let's do that finishing breath. Inhaling up and bring the palms down. I'm going to bring my feet a little wide. So we're going to inhale, bring an arm across. Swallow flies to the nest. Exhale out to the side. Inhale up and over. And exhale. Bring it back to the center. Other side. Inhale, bring it across. Exhale out to the side. Inhaling up and over. And exhaling. Again, swallow flies east. Breathe in. Swallow flies west. Breathe out. Swallow flies up and over, and then lands in its nest. Other side, swallow flies east, doesn't know directions. Swallow flies west, exhaling. Inhaling, swallow flies up and over, and lands in its nest. Let's do that again. Breathe in, bring it across, reach, reach, reach. Exhale out to the side. Inhale up and over, and exhale. Back to the center. Again, inhaling, bring it across. Exhale out to the side. Inhaling up and over. And exhaling. Come back to the center. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Again, bring that energy down. Let's take a hand across the body and then a hand on top, and then lift the opposite knee up and then stomp it down. This is called monk carries the flagpole. Then you got to use your brain here. You got to switch the hands. Oh my. Lift that other knee up and stomp. Put down your flagpole, plunk it down. Very good. Opposite knee raises up and stomp. Other side, plunk it down. And then knee up and excellent. Other side, here we go. Woo. Other side. And one more time, each side. Here we go. Plunk it down. Lift up. Other side. Reach, reach, reach. Very good. Inhaling, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down that energy. Now I'm going to remove my name tag here because next is our thymus thump. So, you find your little collarbone bones and you go about, 2 inches or 2 finger widths down and thump your thymus. So that's to increase T cell production. You can just do the middle fingers of one hand if it feels a little spicy, or if you want to do both hands, that works too. We often lose the T cell production once we, hit past 30. So this is a manual way to manipulate that gland to keep on working. Okay, you do this for about a minute each day. Thump, 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 thump. I feel like Tarzan here. While we're here, I might as well do the big 6, right? So we thump on our thymus. Very good. Then we're going to spread our hands out and find your collarbone. And above and below the collarbone, stroke across. Or alternatively, you can tap, tap, tap. So you look this up, big 6, Dr. Perry. He kind of coined this term, the big 6, the 6 areas where we do lymphatic release. All right, let's do the other side. Here we go, stroke across. Now you're not digging, but it's a slight, you feel the skin kind of moving a little bit. That makes any sense. And again, if you want to tap, 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 I always get excessive nasal drainage, so you'll kind of hear me, sniffing. That's okay. Now, what some folks like to do, they like to take both hands here on the side of the ears, but that's both cartoids we're messing with, right? What I like to do is take my hand across and go down the side of the jawline, so spreading out the fingers in front and back of the ear, and then I go down the neckline. Or I do the same side arm, just one at a time. So this helps get rid of the waste that accumulates in our brain. Typically, the only way you can get rid of the brain waste is through REM, rapid eye movement sleep. And most people are not getting the good sleep. So here's a reason for doing the big six, is this right here. We're manually helping the stuff drain out of our bodies. Now let's do the other side. Here we go. We have a heart that pumps our blood, but what do we have to pump our lymphatic fluids? It's movement. So we got to move, okay? Whew. And if it feels tender, it might, might have some inflammation going on. We go to the doctor and they're always like, palpating our lymph nodes. And that's one physical way they can say, oh, you've got some inflammation going on. Mm-hmm. All right, now we're going to take our hand into our armpit, and you can either press in, but what I like to do is take that thumb and squeeze my pectoral and maybe do a little rub here. Some folks will do a little tapping, little fist, and I have to twist a little bit when I do that. So men and women that get breast cancer, this is the area they check. Did the cancer go to this lymph node nests? 70% of our lymph nodes, though, are in this neck and chest area in the rest of our body, okay? Lots in this area. Let's do the other side. So here we go. You can also do a subtle or not so subtle deodorant check. Now, because I've had heart surgery, they went in through my ribs for that. The scars that were remaining, I also will work my scar tissue because there's not lymphatic flow going through that unless I do work it. So if you do have scars on your body from, surgeries or maybe, an injury, yeah, work those areas too. Now we're going to go on to the rest of the areas. So we did collarbone 1, neck 2, armpits 3. Number 4 is the torso. What I like to do is bring my feet out a little bit, and I go here where the ribs are. Got to find them somehow. And that's where the diaphragm kind of sits up and under. And I like to kind of press down and away. It might be tender. Just know that. If this just does not feel quite right to you, then go on and let's just kind of hit the torso. So the torso is considered to be the second brain of the body. The calves are the second heart of the body, according to TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. Maybe you want to chop. Maybe you want to do fists. If you want to do circles, go from the top here at the diaphragm to the left and make that circle. So that's kind of like the natural way to help you release your toxins, i.e. wastes. I think you get the idea, right? Don't be surprised if you have a wonderful, wonderful bathroom experience after doing your tummy taps, okay? Now, where your leg inserts into your torso, we've got this little crease going on here. It's called the inguinal crease. I never can say that right. Also known as the qua in Tai Chi. So we chop the qua, or you can stroke, but I like to do tap when we're in mixed company, okay? If you have uterine, ovarian, prostate cancer, guess what? This is the area they check. Did the cancer move to these areas? So we're manually getting rid of that waste. That's a good thing. Now I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit, and then we're going to go on the back of the knees. If you tend to have swelling, edema of the feet, the roadblock for that is the lymph node nest in the back of the knee. So I just take my hand. I'm leaning forward when I do this, just so you can kind of see that, okay? You can also chop lightly. So that's the bottom of the hamstring, top of the calf. So kind of get that little bend, yeah, in the back of the knee. You may notice some excessive saliva drainage of your sinuses when you do this. You might notice a little bit of headache, maybe because there's some inflammation going on in your body. Again, Big Six, look it up. You can reply to my email for like some links, okay? And then come back on up, yay, clap the hands, rub some heat. Ooh. Now I'm going to move up to the camera a little bit. We're going to do some more energy work. Let's see if that looks good, okay? You know what? I'm going to get a sip of water. I'm feeling a little peakish there. Oh, that's good. Okay. And is my chair going to squeak? Yes, of course. It always squeaks. All right, so from here, let's do another lymphatic drainage. It's called the water pump. So we're going to take our hand, lay it here on our leg, and then have the kind of the bottom of the wrist kind of go along the curve of the leg. You take the other hand on top of the fingers. And so you don't want the hand to move, but you're going to lift up and down. So this is kind of the underarm area, lymphatic pump. And the thumb is kind of doing freestyle here, okay? So just let it do its thing. And you might feel some snap, crackle, pops with the hand on top of those fingers. Ooh, there went mine. Okay, now let's do the other side. So hand kind of curves, and then hand on top of the hand. Again, be firm there, and then kind of lift it up. And I just had a big old snap, crackle, pop happen when that happened. Very good. Couple more. Very nice. All right, come back to the center. Glue the inside of the arms to your ribs and have your hands be out to the side and really thumbs up towards the sky. So this is good for trigger fingers, trigger thumbs. Bring the thumbs to the side of the hands and up. Notice what you notice when you do this. There's some stiffness going on, yeah. And then take the thumbs down to the bottom of the hands if you can. Ooh. One hand may be able to do it easier than the other. Mm-hmm. All right. And then from here, just kind of shake it out a little bit. We're going to flick our fingers. So flick the fingers. Go from the index finger to the pinky and back and forth. So those of us with a little bit of arthritis, maybe one or two of your fingers are a little spicy. You may notice it here. Go a little bit sweeter, a little bit softer, okay? Increasing that circulation into these very fine capillaries, the veins, into the small parts of our body, right? The fingers, the thumbs, the very sensitive parts. Now, from here, we're pressing, making a circle, pressing down and up, down and up. Try not to have it flatten, but have a circle. Might be kind of impossible if you've got long nails, so you may have to kind of like figure that out, yeah? Down and up, down and up. So these are things you can do if you're a passenger, if you're watching TV, just bringing circulation back into your hands, especially if, if your hands are vintage, as mine are. We may need to pay a little bit more attention to them, yeah? Okay, so let's do thumbs on our thumb. So we're rubbing the thumb and then move it to the index finger and the middle finger. Notice if any of your fingers feel particularly cold, okay? Again, this also helps with pain, lessening pain, chronic pain, like getting into the hands. And then let's flip it over to the other side, get that thumb, kind of get it going on there in that thumb bed, yeah? And the finger. And the middle finger. We're kind of doing a sampler right now, okay? I would do this longer, actually. And that pinky. Very good. And then interlace the fingers, palms together, and bring it here about chest level. And then look at your hands. We're going to be drawing a sideline number 8 with the palms firm into each other. Ooh. Again, notice what you notice. Does one more easily do this than the other? So next is a little brain challenge. We're going to pause and then work your interlaced fingers the other direction. I have a big challenge with this. It's like, ooh, I gotta super concentrate. My hand wants to go back to the original direction. I don't know. I mean, my brain's just going crazy here. And you know what? Release the hands, clap the hands, a little bit of heat. Now, Interlace the fingers again. Go back to your original easy direction. Okay, we got that in our brain. And then pause, quickly flip it to the other direction. That didn't help. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at myself because it's like, ooh, I'm fighting it. My brain is fighting it. My body is fighting it. It's like, it doesn't look like a figure eight anymore. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, and release that. Shake it out. Just let the fingers be like jello. Let's go back to shaking gong here. So shake it up, side to side. And then flap it down, and then flap it up. Very nice. Go back to spinning wrists. Notice if it feels any different. It might. And reverse. Let's go back to spread the feathers. So spread out the hands, hand out to the side, lower it, turn that thumb, drop the ear towards the shoulder. Ooh, there's a little bit more range of motion is what I'm noticing. Now take the chin towards the shoulder. Now lift the chin where the wall meets the ceiling. And then bring the chin slowly down to the chest and towards that extended arm side and release. Let's do the other side. It may be very subtle, okay? Spread out the hands out to the side, turn that thumb, lower the arm a little bit so you kind of feel a little sensation going on here. Again, ear towards the shoulder and maybe the hand off the leg. Well, and maybe not. And then chin towards the shoulder. We've got a little bit more range of motion going on this time around. And then chin where the wall meets the ceiling. Lift it up. And then make that half smile or half circle. Bring it down towards your chest. And slowly up towards that extended arm side. And release. Clap the hands. From here, tap, tap, tap. Again, to the shoulder. Stay here. Bring the arm up. Bring it to the armpit. And bring it down the side body. Underneath the hip bone. Bring it up the center. And once again, get the shoulder and bring it down the inside. And then kind of slough off that excess energy. All right, other side, clap the hands. That's a variation of our Qigong detox, by the way. And again, tap, tap, tap the outside. Get that shoulder. Lift the arm. Transfer it to the armpit. Bring it down the side body. You may have to twist a little bit to make this happen. Down below the hip, below the belly button, bring it up the center. I do a little fist when I do that. And then get that shoulder. Woo! Palm up. Bring it down the inside. Again. Woo. Very good. So let's tap, tap, tap the pinkies. That's for lessening headaches, vertigo. Again, just a little sampler here. Again, you're not whapping, it's a little tapping. So this is according to traditional Chinese medicine, these different meridians that we are activating. And with the thumbs, we're going to go here in that web. So that's for digestive disorders, for nausea. And let your fingers relax when you do this. Makes a little sound. And then flip it. We get to do it longer. Very good. Now, if you got rings on both sides, it may make a little bit of noise. We're going to tap the in between places of our fingers. So tap, tap, tap. So that's for pain and numbness in the limbs, okay? For easing that. And you typically interlace your fingers a certain way. You did when we did the figure 8 wrist circles. They were going to pause and then wiggle the top finger and then make the other finger be on top. So it's the weird way to interlace your fingers, right? That may feel a little strange. It's okay. Next will be our pulse points at our wrists for cardiovascular heart challenges. So you can tap, tap, tap. This way, I don't like that way though. I like to go like this. That's just me. Tap, 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 tap. and then flip it because you get to do it longer when you do it in this manner. That's what I like. And then remember our cupped hands when we swung the arms, when we did that spinal cord breathing, we cup the hands on top of the hands. And you can place the hand down on the leg, but when I do that, I find that I'm like tapping harder. So I like to bring it in the air. So back of the hands is for osteoarthritis, back pain. And I turn my hand a little bit if there's a ring there. Now let's move it to the wrists, and that's for neck and shoulder pain. Again, cup the hand, tap, tap, tap. Mine's a little bit more high on my arm because I've got my watch there. Should be like right there in the back of the wrist, though, okay? Kind of that bony part, yeah? Let's do the other side. Again, cup the hand. Now I got my ring on this side, so I'm going to curve it a little bit more. Makes a nice little sound. Osteoarthritis, back pain. And the next one is for neck and shoulder pain. So move it here on the back of the wrist. Tap, tap, tap. And then make a fist. So let's punch into the palm. Now, the reason I like this one, for me personally, I can kind of check my strength. But it's also good for stress, anxiety, improves clarity, consciousness. Check your strength. Let's do the other side. Ooh, so that left side is a little bit weaker than the right. That's what I notice. Very good. You may be noticing some little tingling going on. That's okay. Scooch back in your chair, get comfortable. Let's do a little bit of guided rest. You can just rest your palms up, place your hands on your belly, put your hands on your heart center. Just comfortable, okay? Maybe cover up with that little blanket for a little bit. We do a short guided rest in this class because we try to get in all that Tai Chi chair goodness. So I invite you either to close your eyes or maybe just kind of gaze down at the floor. Either one, okay? Or maybe you're looking forward. That works too. And then from here, just notice that you're breathing. Don't change it in any way. Just notice, how does it feel here to breathe in? Notice what moves. And notice what moves when you're exhaling. Let's do that again. Breathe in and exhale. So imagine here at the crown of your head, there's a little opening here. And let's imagine healing light entering through the crown of the head, and it's saturating every cell of your body, all the way from the top of the head down towards the tips of the toes. Feel that healing energy inside and out. Heal head to toe. And every bone, every organ, every tendon, all the layers of the skin, just kind of everywhere in our bodies. Now, maybe you have a challenge area. For me, it's my left hip. So I'm going to, when I bring in that healing light, put a little extra healing light sensation into the areas that may have a little challenge for me. Maybe you can do the same for you. So breathe in the light, breathe in that healing, see it, feel it everywhere you need it. Imagine your whole body fully healed, whole, new again. Breathe in that feeling. And from here, flutter those eyes open. Let's scoot away from the back of the chair. And then let's take our hands and point the fingers out, kind of at angles here. And you may feel some heaviness at the fingertips. Just imagine you're releasing toxins through the fingers and letting them pour into the earth. Good. And then for our gratitude practice, I invite you to bring your hands to heart center, either stack them or hands together. And in gratitude of you just showing up today, let's go ahead and lower our chin towards our chest. And let's think about one thing that we're grateful for, or maybe an idea of gratitude. Grab it, clasp it, and let's place it into that heart space. Just for a moment here, think about that. Breathing in and out. Very good. From here, open those eyes, gaze your eyes